And we am live. Oh, it's 50
We am
seconds.
live.
It's 50 seconds, not
No,
48.
everything's ruined.
It's all good. All right. Hi, guys. I went live.
Oh,
No, I got the notification. So what's going on, guys? It is the Sunday live stream where we discuss something. You got the notification too? And
Yep.
of course, with me as
causing
usual.
everything to go haywire on my phone.
With me as usual, this guy.
Hello.
Right there. You guys know us.
Rodimus 13.
The Rodimus 13 person. So, of course, we're going to be talking about Gundam the Origin episode Dose. Entitled A Promise with Mother. Or A Mother's Promise. We just translate it, however. Guys, there may or may not be glitching. I can't tell. He's glitching ever so slightly, but he said I was glitching, so we don't know who's doing what. So if you can see us and hear us fine, let us know. I already know there's some people in the comments. We got Totally Not Marlin, Hidatarase, Aturub J. Briano. What's up, guys?
Hello, comment people.
Comment people. It sounded like you said common people.
Hello,
commoners.
commoners.
Hello, commoners.
we YouTubers are so far above you.
Such a dick. So, guys, it was an interesting week. Got back to work finally, putting out a buttload of reviews. You guys seem to respond to most of them. But oddly enough, Friday's review, the P. Bandai Gundam Murdoch, or Mudrock, I did it. I cannot believe I fucking said that. For some reason, not as many people saw that. I don't know why. I don't know if that was a thing or not. People just weren't that interested in it. I think it's a good kit, and I broke it mid-review. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Yeah, that was not fun breaking that thing. However,
you told me that it happened, and while I was watching the video, I was just waiting for it to happen, just waiting, and then even when it did happen, I still gasped. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yep. So we got Cienfano, the Darkest Blader is here. Sarah Lee is here. Hugh Are You Comic is watching.
Hi. That's most likely my wife watching.
I would hope so. Who else would be logged into your account? Gotta watch that. I actually had to change my Google password this week just in case, because it looked like somebody used my email and at least name and stuff like that to sign up for a Japanese dating website. It didn't look like they got in. It didn't look like they got into anything, but they used my email, or at least used Shoki, at the name and stuff like that. And I started getting a whole bunch of notifications from this website. I'm like, what the heck? So I clicked on it to see what the heck it was. And I went in there. Well, I went in there and I'm like, what is this? And so I ended up turning off everything that I had access to, because obviously it used my email to log into it. So if I clicked on it, I could get to the account. So I went in there and I turned off everything. I sent a message to their support and said, look, someone is using my info for this. Deactivate this account. And then I changed my password just to be safe. Because I've had that happen on my regular email, not my Google email, where somebody had hacked my email address and was using and signed up for different stuff, but then had set all of the stuff they wanted to view to spam or trash, and was just reading it as it came in on those into my trash folder. Yeah, so they were stealthily using my email. So yeah. In George Takei's voice, oh my. Yeah. So happy birthday. Yes, happy early birthday to Rodmus. Happy belated birthday to myself. My birthday was yesterday. We had a party. People came over. It was a good time. Oh, I didn't tell you. I meant to text you earlier. I meant to text you earlier because you left at a reasonable time. So we were playing Cards Against Humanity last night, which was incredibly fun. A couple of people, it was their first time ever playing. If you've played the game or if you watched my reviews of the cards, you understand. So this one leaves, and so we replace him with Rando, which is just the playing a random card in case of a normal player. After you left, Rando swept the game. Like literally, I shit you not. Like the first 3 rounds after you left, Rando won straight. Then I think Anthony won the next one, and then somebody else won the next one after that. And then by the next turn, everybody got crazy betting extra cards, and Rando cleared with an extra card. It was crazy. It was really crazy. It took Charlie 426 ages to get that sorted out. Well, he like really got hacked. Zeta got hacked. They stole his thing, locked him out of his own Google account, and they wouldn't let him recover it because for some reason you can't prove that, I guess, or he just didn't fight it enough to get his YouTube channel back. But yeah, it was a good time last night. Good food, good friends, couple presents. One in particular being this new shirt that you guys should recognize. That one gave it to me. I hope it's a one of a kind. Oh, he's lagged out real bad.
Well, I am losing you almost, my dude.
I'm losing you bad. Like you're not responding.
I don't know if anybody else is getting problems with this.
I think it's you.
Like you keep on going robot, and then you're suddenly jumped into position now.
Yeah, I think it's you, but I can't tell.
Yeah, you're like skipping all over the place.
Guys, if you can hear me, let us know in the comments who's actually having an issue, me or him. Because this is the problem. We can't tell. We just know that I see him glitching and he sees me glitching. We don't know who it actually is. So let us know who's actually screwed up. This started the problem last week.
Just double check. My Wi-Fi is turned off. Maybe I should go back on to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, maybe. But that's the thing. It's like we don't know if it's you or if it's me. So I'm waiting for a comment to see.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me leave a comment. Eric says it's you.
Waiting says it's me?
Yeah. Says I'm fine. You're the one glitching.
Good.
Yeah, maybe
I mean, I'm like not moving around because I'm waiting to like hear what you say, and then it comes out all garbled.
Yeah, it's you. Hopefully that message will pop up.
Reboot my phone, come back?
You might want to.
Okay, let's try going onto Wi-Fi real quick. See what happens.
See, this is what happens when you do things off your phone instead of off of a computer. It gets really badly glitchy. So he's either... Here, I'll turn him off for the time being. Because he forgot to remove himself from the stream first.
Oh, okay.
Are you back?
I'm back.
Can you hear me?
Talk.
Am I good?
I can hear you, but you're still out of sync. Ah.
Okay, so for you, my mouth is out of sync, but you're not glitching as bad as you were. So I don't know if that's an improvement.
Internet problems.
They're saying it's mostly you.
Mostly me.
So yeah.
Story of my life.
I did find out that last weekend there were some issues locally, so there may have been some issues the other weekend. So we'll try to get through this as best we can. He was going to actually lead this one tonight, but I might have to just out of default.
I can start off and we can see where it happens from there.
Well, also, if there's that big of a delay between me talking to you and you responding, it's going to get bad. So real quick. So obviously a lot of stuff happened on my channel and in life. So how was your week and or beginning to your weekend?
At work, I work at a print shop for a school district, and all the teachers are back. So I suddenly went from having, very little work to having all the work in the world. So that was fun trying to kind of get back into that flow and get caught up on everything. Plus, I'm off this week, and so I'm trying to account for all of that. And then we got like a new printer in, so I had to do training to pick up that. And what videos did I have go out last week?
Yargaga,
and
was that it?
and I knew I had a second video. What was it?
Was it an unboxing?
That's right. I unboxed the H2 Magnum. The Master.
Oh,
Grade.
that's right. Because I made fun of you on my Facebook.
Oh, that was hilarious, by the way. I thought that.
Well, and the thing is, I was driving home watching that. So, like, I pulled into my parking lot right as you said that. And I'm like, I'm responding to him. Because he's like, I don't know who this pilot is, but I'm pretty sure Shoki would know. And so I had to make a quick response video. I posted it on the Facebook. So, guys, if you haven't seen that, go over to the Shoki Facebook. Also, go watch his stuff. He needs more views on things. Come on. We do this so that he can grow. I'm growing steadily. He needs to grow steadily, too. I mean, I've only just now got back to work on things. So I've got a lot more reviews coming up. So for the next 6 to 7 weeks, we will have Masterpiece Monday.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be going over some Masterpiece Transformers. If you saw my Instagram, you saw a teaser for what's tomorrow. And what will be coming for the next 6 or 7 weeks. And of course on Patreon's been getting some extra stuff. I do have a video that'll be going up this week. I forgot to upload it. That's the final chapter of the custom local type. So look forward to that. All right, so we have a question real quick. If I got to scroll back up and get the better one here.
Hey, Shoki and Ramos is what suit you guys prefer, Jagan, A-Type, or Gem 3?
I'm more of a Jagan fan than a Gem fan.
The Gem 3, I like it in some ways, but I think the overall design for it is a little on the meh side in comparison to like the Gem 1 and the Gem 2, oddly enough. I like the little shoulder missile pod things, but it makes me think of like police light bars, like on the Pat Labors.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick between a Jagan and a Gem 3, probably Jagan, but I would want something other than space white.
Well, for me, the Gem 3 is almost like the in a weird way, it's kind of somewhere between like the Gundam Mark II and the ground type for me. Interesting new design, but not really that different.
Yeah.
Where to me the Jagan is like the new Gundam version of a Gem. So it's like all new, taller, sleeker design, better. Now, what you should have said was Gem 3 Justa or Jagan. Like throw in the Justa in there too. Like that's a much better comparison. But I would still say Jagan over Justa, but I like the Justa. I passed up the freaking Justa kit the other day. So I did go shopping on my birthday. And I got a couple things real quick. I'll show those off. So this is not actually for me. This is for my buddy Nate, who's been searching hard for it. So the MG Tall Geese one. It's a good kit.
Saw that at your house the other day, and I was like, I thought you had like all the Tall Geese. Why do you have a new one in box?
Yeah, that's for Nate because he's got the Wing Gundam. I forget if he has the regular wing or the EW wing. They also had the custom, the Wing Gundam custom or Wing Zero custom. So he didn't have money for that and Tall Geese, and he wanted Tall Geese more. So I got him the Tall Geese. And then for myself, I grabbed the A-Wing. So I was talking about it a couple weeks ago that I really wanted to build out a 1/72 diorama of like a starship hangar with all my 1/72 ships. So I said I needed an A-wing to complete that realistically, and I saw that they were up for pre-order again for the next run, and I'm like that, and they won't come out until June or something. So I was like, I don't want to wait that long. So I just happened to walk into the store, and there's a freaking A-wing sitting there.
One of these days, I need to try out a Star Wars kit.
You should. But then I got a comic book as well while I was there, but I passed up a lot of kits because I realized I've been spending quite a lot of money. But today I went down to IKEA to get my next upgrade, so to speak, for the room. And I will be finally doing an updated room tour now that things are clean. So tomorrow, before I start on this new project, I'm going to do a room tour for everybody who's been begging for an updated room tour, which is not really that big. I can just literally sit here in the chair and hold the camera, and that would pretty much get it. So look forward to that. I've mostly just been killing time waiting for people to show up before we get talking about the episode. And card 995 actually says Jesta is better.
Which was the MG that came out recently? Was that was the we made the Space White comments on? Was that the Jagan or the Jesta?
Jagan. Jestas are Titans colors.
Okay, I the names are so similar in my head, I get them mixed up sometimes. So Zaku 3, Dovin Wolf, or Jesta Cannon?
Dovin Wolf.
I remember getting the pieces of the Dovin Wolf in the mobile game and really enjoying those.
Yeah,
because they look so freaking cool. Jesta Cannon is pretty badass looking.
Jesta Cannon is neat, but because it's P Bandai, I'm just going to be mad about it. All right, so let's get rolling. Hopefully more people show up, but let's get rolling. I will divert
you
to
leading
you
on.
when you're leading. I will fill in when necessary.
Okay. So, episode 2 of Promise with Mother. We open up at the zombie house, and it sounds like a gun gets shot off. And then when we cut inside, we see Cascilia is talking to Giran about how formidable Casval is because he didn't put up with any of her shit in the previous episode. None of it. And we see that Giran is actually playing Go. Either he's playing against like a computer or somebody online or something like that. Though the fact that he's holding a book shows that he might actually be doing like drills for Go.
That's what I was gathering, that like he had like a playbook, so to speak. Like they do something, this is what I'll do. But I like the fact that he's playing like a real version, like right here with the real things, and then the digital thing is happening on the screen. So yeah, it's like either he was playing online against somebody or like the computer, like you said. So the real question is, what is more likely? But also I didn't know what the game was, but now that I know it's Go, makes sense.
The main reason I know about that is because I really liked the anime Hikaru no Go.
Okay.
So though I've never finished it, but that's a fun anime. If you want like hot-blooded shonen battle, but it's Go, that's the one you go for. Anyway, let's see, where was I?
Yes.
And Giran is just completely not interested in what Cascilia is saying, or even that she's there, because he's just leaning there. He's putting down his pieces, and he's just barely paying attention to her.
Yeah,
and he's also dressed he's either dressed in civilian clothes or like he's in his uniform, but he's like tossed his jacket somewhere else.
Yeah, he's basically really dressed down, but yeah, basically, like she comes in and she's like, "Yeah, I can't believe Casval was so formidable. I pressed him hard, and not only was he not afraid, he threatened me." Yeah. Which he did. We discovered last time he's a stone cold little badass. And then we find out how what his actual age is. I think I called him 8 like repeatedly last time, but she actually specifically says he's 11, just like Garma.
Yeah, but the boy has guts.
Yep, guts. It's like space guts.
And it's like, and then she warns him. It's like, if you're going to have this 1,000-year dynasty thing going on, we're going to need to deal with him. And Garen doesn't care. He just keeps playing.
Well, see, that's the thing is like he cares, but he clearly has a plan about it somehow.
He's like, that almost sounds like you're giving me an order, Cassilia.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, oh, I would never. I'm just trying to fix my screw up from last time.
And
but I like his response though.
Go for it.
Well, he basically says, "Yeah, I've already put a lot of thought into this. Just leave it be." And don't.
He's like, don't interfere, and then he places down the go piece, and you get that little sound effect, and she's clearly a little unnerved by that.
I think she was also pissed because I think she really wanted to kill him. Like, I think she really wanted to kill Casval.
And he's like, it's like, instead of scheming, she should just, pray for the repose of Sasro's soul instead. And I'm putting a note here. It's like, the asshole that struck her so hard that she bled all over her uniform.
Yeah. Well, what I thought was that, like, because basically she said, now that he's dead, you're going to need somebody to scheme and do shit. And he's like, what? You? Like, basically it was his response. And he's like, no, your time's better spent praying for his soul,
kind of doing girly women stuff, basically, is kind of what he's the undercurrent of that comment, I think.
I do think that they understand that she is kind of a badass, but they also don't really respect her, and it's her fault that the Deikuns got away in the first place. She was playing nice against Rawl and let them go.
But yeah, and after that exchange, I have written down, it's like, she takes us about as well as can be expected. And she has that.
Yeah.
And I also have that, it's like, fast forward to spoilers for First Gundam. Then we get the theme song. Let's make the murderous scheming liar look as cool and heroic as possible.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Yep. Then when we come back from the opening titles, we see Austria, however the heck the name's pronounced.
Austria.
With Casval and his sister coming off of a helicopter back at the Deikun home. And
was it the Deikun home?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Deikun home.
I thought it was the Zabi house.
No,
was I not paying attention? I thought it was the Zabi house.
And here's the woman that they meet there, the creepy old-looking woman.
Creepy old lady, yeah.
Because I looked up who that was.
Yeah.
Because they introduced her as Madame Rose Lucia.
Rosa Lucia.
That's Zeon-Sum Daikun's legal wife. Yeah.
Okay. But she's like super old.
She's like super old, but this is why she just absolutely hates.
I thought it was. We'll see.
I was thinking it was like his mom or something like that. Like that was her mother-in-law or something.
Yeah, because when I first watched it, because I had to watch it twice back to back today to get my notes.
Yeah.
So the first time I watched it, I thought it was their house again, but we only saw it nighttime before, so clearly I didn't pay attention when they landed there. I thought it was the Zabi house, and I thought that was like one of the older, like Zabi women.
Nope.
Clearly I missed that, but I had the feeling the first go round that maybe it was her mother-in-law by the way she acted. But
yeah, because that was what I was thinking. That was what I was thinking too, and I figured I'd look her up real quick just so that way I could get a little bit more information, talk more authoritative, as it were, about her. And I saw it's like legal wife. I'm like, wait, what? Excuse me?
That's crazy. I'm gonna
because I was like, what? It's like I could somewhat understand, uh, her being a little upset with her, but it's just, everything that happens later in this episode seems very extreme. And now with this information, we understand a little bit better. Also, does she remind you of Frieza at all?
Yep.
I was
And
thinking,
she's in the chair.
she's in a chair, and
She
she's
has
got
Zarbon and Dodoria with her. It's fine.
that was one of my notes up there. It just looks like Frieza.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, she's from the manga and from the anime. She's the legal wife of him.
Yeah, I have written down. It's like, no wonder she hates Australia.
I'm guessing she got like ALS or something because it says that she withdrew from the front line due to illness.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he got with Estrella to have kids.
Yeah.
To pass on the bloodline, so to speak. Which makes sense because I wouldn't want to fuck her.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, she must have had the money. Like, because it seems like, just reading that real quick, like, he was just like a street activist talking about all this stuff. I'm guessing
in fact, she says that later on, doesn't she?
Something like that.
He was saying something about, it's like, I knew him when he was just a street activist or something.
Yeah. But just real quick, let's look at Estrella. Just right quick. Oh, she's his mistress, technically speaking. Oh, that makes sense. Hold on. Just reading her. She was originally a cabaret singer from the nightclub Eden.
That's the same nightclub that is that the same nightclub that Hamon was singing at?
Hamon, yes. So she's old friends with Clamp, who worked as bartender club, and Crowley Hamon, who also worked there. So they both worked there and just happen to look almost identical. Either way, also happy late birthday. Thank you. Does that make Dozel part of the Xeon Muse squad? I don't know. But yeah, no. Obviously, I meant that it was their house. That was my point. But the fact that she tells Estrella to come to her room later so we can talk in peace because it's too loud out here with the helicopter.
Yeah.
Which cool helicopter design, by the way.
Yeah, very cool.
With the twin rotors with no rear rotor.
But yeah, when they meet up with her, go ahead.
No, that's all I was saying. The helicopter was cool.
Okay. So Australia tries to be civil. You can tell she's just like, oh, I didn't realize you were here. How nice.
This is my home after all.
Like, we're my room later. We're talking.
Yeah.
And then Artesia is just barely, she's just kind of glaring at her, and then she goes, and everybody, including the cat, look at her like, dude, what the hell?
So my question is, do the kids know who she is? Like that how do you have that conversation? By the way, this is Daddy's actual wife. Your mom isn't really my wife.
I mean, I could, at the very least, I could see Casval knowing that, just because that's kind of,
he knows everything. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, he's way too wise for how old he is.
Well, given who he becomes, it makes a lot of sense. So I'm just gonna just mark out that entire little paragraph I wrote there because of my sheer misunderstanding of what house they were at.
She also she does also refer to whatever her name is. I said it earlier and now I'm blanking on it. Rosa whatever. Rosa Lucia says that, refers to like, she goes, of course, this is my home after all. Basically, telling Artesia, it's like, you don't belong here.
That's true. I love that it immediately cuts to later.
Yeah.
It's like, no interstitial, no another scene. Later. Okay, shit. It's already later.
And it's like either it's nighttime or she just keeps her room unnaturally dark.
Well, it's still daylight outside when you see the tower that they're talking about. But basically she says, bitch, you're getting in the tower.
Yeah.
It's really what she tells her.
It's like, and she lies. It's like, the tower's not so bad. And then she goes on to the truth, saying it's like, aside from being cramped and lonely at night, it was It was originally built as a place for contemplation. Who knows how many of Deikuns' ideas were birthed within its walls? And it looks like something of like a horror movie or like some sort of medieval story about a prisoner that's been locked away for political reasons or something.
Or Rapunzel.
Yeah, or Rapunzel.
But it did like her the next line where she says it's imbued with the many feelings of a second generation colonist. You know, our suffering, our pain, and our dark resentment. And
yeah.
Like, damn. So I mean, like they're really covering why Xeon has the feelings they do, or he did.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you covered it before we went on air, talking about the real history of how the colonists came to be, and we're sort of going to get there, I'm guessing, because the episode actually ends on sort of talking about that, but we'll get there eventually.
Okay. After that, we cut back to the Raw residence, and it's been like thoroughly trashed, which we pretty much everybody was calling it as like as soon as the Deikuns leave, they were just going to destroy that place.
Yeah, I thought like when they showed it, I thought like legit, because obviously we know they left. I was like, damn, they wasted no time wiping them out. Like, what the hell? It's like it's all wrecked outside. Well, we already knew there were protests and everything like that. People were assaulting the mansion, but Cassilia just walked up, you know, with their people last time. So, you know, obviously we know that the people or the Deikuns left, but yet the whole damn mansion is like abandoned and like everything's overturned, and the yard is like a wreck and stuff.
And Ramba is kind of looking around, going, it's like, okay, where's all this help? Well, I guess I'm not surprised they're leaving. Okay, where's my dad?
Yeah.
And then this blonde woman shows up out of nowhere and gives him a message about Artasia being sent up to the tower, and this will be the last night they have with the kids. And he's like, who the hell are you? And then she's like, she pulls off the glasses, and it's like, oh, come on, that's not a nice trick to play. Please don't.
It's me, Supergirl. Take the glasses off. Can't tell who she is. Like,
you thought I was a random NPC, but it was I. Come on.
Yes. So she's obviously pretty good at disguise, despite the fact that basically she was just her with glasses on. But to be fair, she had the glare over the glasses, so you couldn't see those blue eyes.
I make the joke about Superman, but I remember reading a comic once where they talked about the glasses actually like were specially tinted to kind of hide his like piercing blue eyes or something like that. So
it's irony.
Yeah. Anyway, so they eventually go and start talking underneath the stairs about what's going on, what they should do next. He briefly like wonders aloud, it's like, you think the zombies are just going to let, you know, the kids grow up and, you know, be happy and run the country? And Comet's like, no, 300% no.
Yeah, literally like, nope, 300% chance that ain't going to happen.
And that's when they're like, okay, then we know what we got to do. We need to get everybody out of here.
Did you bleep yourself, or was that a glitch?
I bleeped myself.
Okay, couldn't tell. But yeah, that's just no. I love the line she says here though, and it's he's like, you can do that, and she's like, yeah, I've got a foolproof means of delivery. I don't know if she knows what foolproof means, because clearly there's some fools involved later.
It works out in the end.
Bullshit. But I assume that's what you were talking about whenever you watched the episode before me, and you were like, I'm interested to see what you think about this kind of UPS driver situation here. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
Well, my main thought was just the facility that we see with all the packaging and stuff like that, but we'll get to that later.
You meant that. That's what you meant. I thought you meant the actual delivery, so to speak.
No.
But yeah.
So eventually they find Ramba, and like it's either like a broom closet or a panic room, or possibly both.
Who? They find who?
Ramba's father.
Jimba. For the love of God. Write it down.
I have it written down later on, but I described him
I'm
as
gonna
Rama's
beat
father.
these names into you so you don't keep fucking them up. You did that last week too. You kept referring to his dad as Ramba. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's real confusing real quick.
I have it written down as Ramba finds his dad in a closet / panic room.
Yeah, there
Decked
you go.
out with lots of weapons.
Weapons, fuel tanks, bazookas, body armor.
There's a couple of grenades just sitting on the desk there.
Yep. I can hear you, but you're glitching out.
Oh crud! Well,
don't move around so much. It doesn't like that.
I'll
Sit
try to
still, stare directly at the camera.
And so Rama basically comes in, finds him. And Jim is saying like
through the door.
Yeah. Jim says like they won't take me with how to fight, and he's trying to holster his gun and is just failing at it.
I couldn't tell if he was trying to holster it or like he was like pointing, like he's like. I mean, I had the idea that he was trying to holster and missing, but he wasn't fumbling. He was just like stabbing repeatedly in the same spot, not getting there. So that's why I couldn't tell exactly what action he was trying to do.
I just figured he was so panicky and crazed at the moment. He was like,
yeah.
Because he's not even really paying attention to what he's doing.
I assume he still hasn't slept. It's only the next day. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It is literally the next morning.
And Ramba eventually tells us, like, okay, no, we're getting you the heck out of here. I'm going to take you to Earth. And he's kind of going through this, like, okay, this is the part where my dad's going to resist and say, no, I'm not going anywhere. And Jimba goes kind of like, what? And then next thing you know, he's blubbering and hugging his son. It's like, oh, you wonderful boy. Yes, I'm going to Earth. I will go to Earth and be safe away from all this stuff.
Yeah, and like you're a good son, and now I know why you're the heir to the Raw family. Like that's an odd thing to say to your son.
And he's just like, yeah, he's just like sort of looking there. It's like, dear Lord, am I actually related to this person?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, but I mean, it does make sense. You know, he's trying to save his father, trying to make sure his family is not wiped out for, you know, all the good that's going to do. But yeah, his dad, like, I like Jimbo because he is like this cantankerous old man who's clearly been involved with all these super dangerous people for way too long. And his son is a soldier, but also a good man. Which usually would mean that he would die pretty quick on the battlefield by accident. But, you know, as Game of Thrones in space goes, he's living pretty good for now. Yes, I haven't made another comment about Game of Thrones in space just yet. So, yay.
Okay, so we cut from that back to the...
They have to get Tyrion out, and they got to sneak him out. And oh my God, it is Game of Thrones in space. They do this in Game of Thrones. They literally ship him on that, my friend. They literally ship him out in a container with a hole in the side. That's how he would breathe, get food, or shit. I'm going to continue to connect this week by week to Game of Thrones.
You'll need to make a chart.
Yeah.
Anyway,
connecting all the dots.
So we cut back to the Deikun family. They're climbing up the stairs to the tower. Artesia seems to be absolutely loving this place. It's kind of small and stuff, but she likes the bed, and
I like our new home.
Yeah, and all the viewers are like, "Oh."
Not all of them.
And she just does not realize that they are only going to be there for that night.
I don't know that they explicitly had said that up until Hamon said it, because we hadn't heard anybody's plans, so to speak. But obviously, they were going to take the kids, lock Artesia away, or Estrella away.
Yeah.
God knows what they were actually planning to do with the kids. We'll never know. Oh my God, they're the Targaryens. You've got to send the last brother and sister away for safety, or they'll be killed by their enemies who have taken power and killed the guy who was in charge. Holy shit.
I'll take.
I told you, they're space Lannisters. They are space Lannisters. Anybody else? Come on. I'm done. I'm done for the night. I've seen this in Game of Thrones. And they grow up to come back and try. No, I'm just kidding.
We go back to the Deikun Tower, blah, blah, blah.
She liked the house, and then
the mother gathers them all together, and they talk on the balcony, and that's when she starts telling them what the plan is. And Artesia won't have it. She demands to know why her mother isn't going with her. She cries out that she doesn't want to go without her. And even Casval, usually stone-faced, not really showing a whole lot of emotion, at least around other people, doesn't look real happy with this situation.
I think, one, he's fed up with everything, and he's not happy that he knows they should be in charge.
Yeah.
As the way he
talks, Daikun's son.
Yeah, you will bow to me. You'll do as I say. So, like, the fact that they have to run is definitely pissing him off.
Agreed. And
I don't know where all our commenters went.
Artesia tells her that it's like, no. You see, I'll join you later. I can't go now. That's all.
When, Mommy? When?
And and Artesia begs to know when she'll come down to Earth. And her mother says, when you become a good girl on Earth, and that didn't work.
That was some bullshit.
And eventually she says, like, okay, look, I'll come down when the moon becomes big and small 100 times.
Yeah, and for those doing the math, that's about 8 years. So she's talking about when the moon goes full. So there's roughly 12 full moons a year. So
yeah,
if it's going to do it 100 times, that's roughly 8 years. She did just make that shit up. She's not like, I'll be out of here in 8 years. I have an 8-year sentence.
And this seems to calm Artesia down a little bit.
Yeah, she gets more interested.
And like while Artesia is trying to show that, when she's trying to show that she can count to 100, Casval is looking over the lake and just barely able to like control all this anger and hate that's boiling inside of him.
Yeah, even though they're in bed and like it looks like he's asleep, he's never asleep. He's always got one eye open. And yeah, the first time I watched, obviously, second time I saw a few more things than I saw the first time, and yeah, he's like, you can see he's like, got his eyes like squinting, like he's just like, he's either angry or about to cry. I couldn't quite tell, but either way, very not happy about this. And
angry is what I got. It kind of makes me think of some of the scenes in the prequels where Anakin is.
Now we're gonna make Star Wars references.
I talk about what I know. You talk about what you know. Where Anakin is finding out what
Star Wars in space.
Where Anakin was what happened to Anakin's mom, and and then how all that boils up, and then he goes out and slaughters all of the sand people.
I killed them.
The women, the
children, the dogs, the cats, the lizards, the goldfish, the neighbors. Then I set fire to their cars and I pooped on their kitchen floor. It's like, Anakin, I don't think you needed to tell us all this.
I said it's coarse.
Then I wrote the wrong address on their mailbox so they wouldn't get their mail. That's just sadistic. At least Star Wars is another Bandai franchise. Just wait, we'll get Game of Thrones models. But yeah, no. And then Artesia will not go to sleep. She's being one of those kids. Like, Mommy, I'm so excited. We get to go to Earth.
Well, she doesn't want to go to sleep because she knows as soon as she wakes up again, that's when they have to say goodbye.
Yeah, I wish it would just stay this night forever. So romantic.
As a parent, this kind of thing hits me right in the feels.
Always connect everything back to being a parent.
We're talking about a kid and their parents. Come on.
Yeah, who grows up to be like a bloodthirsty so and so.
One of them does.
I don't really know. Who's Sayla again?
So in the morning, a gun tank arrives and crashes their gates.
Or as I like to say, good morning, gun tank. It's your Sunday morning wake up call. Your gun tank is here. Oh, thanks.
The detail on that was really cool, by the way. Just the way that you could see the treads just crushing the ground and breaking everything as it goes.
Yeah, I like their CG renders still look really good, so they're not standing out so bad against the actual animated things.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you can tell it's CGI, but it still works pretty well.
Oh yeah, it's a good cell shaded effort.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they actually run into the gate. Good morning, gun tank shirt. Oh, there's a new idea. What was the other shirt I was supposed to make? I know I made a note on it.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about.
I know we said something about. I'm blanking now.
Yeah, I have not made that new card for Cards Against Humanity though. The one from last night. I have not done that one yet. I will. But either way, yeah. Gun tank shows up and actually runs over the wall / gate a little bit. Like, should have stopped a little sooner. And then starts over the PA. Says, "I'm here to take the Deikun children on orders of the Federation."
And everybody's panicking, like, "No, the children. What are you?" And this female Federation officer comes out. That's obviously Hammond. Comes up to them, and they kind of look at it. The Casval in Austria look at her. Why they haven't, tried to pull them back into the tower to a defensible position?
Well,
I don't know, but
because these are Federation soldiers and they're being ordered. They're like, well, we haven't gotten that order yet. Are you questioning me? I have a gun tank. Are you going to? Clearly, I'm here to transport the children. I have this is obviously the best delivery method to stow away very important kids. No one will ever know that we're transporting very important people in this very discreet, quiet tank.
Not at all going to attract attention.
Yeah, nobody will know. Like, just what the hell? And then they're like, "Are you?" I forgot her other name, whatever. Hammond.
I didn't write it down, but yeah.
Yeah,
they're like, "Are you Hammond?" And she's like, "Yep, that's right." And their eyes light up, and they go back in, and she escorts them up, and they go into the head cockpit area.
It's a weird.
And she gives them a change of clothes for some reason.
It's called a disguise. Crowley, that's her name.
That's right, because I remember thinking about Good Omens.
Yes, I remember thinking of Supernatural. But yeah, so by the way, she fills out that uniform nicely. She looks good in that Fetty uniform. That's all I'm going to say.
She cuts a striking figure.
One of those things. She could cut my striking figure. But yeah, she's so blatantly lying, and these idiots are just like, okay, well, let me go check our orders. No time! Kids, get in the tank. Bye, guys. Wait. We don't have it. It just drives away. Yeah, and we see that's going to end well.
And we see the kids tearfully waving goodbye to the mother, and the mother waving tearfully goodbye to them, and it's the feels.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have a heart, that is.
Like, I mean, it was fine. They're like waving bye, mommy, and you can tell that she basically knows she's never going to see her kids again, and odds are she's going to die as a prisoner in this tower. So yeah, in the fields, that's fine, but battle is coming. This is the scene that I thought I was missing from last week. I was like, that's all we get out of the gun tanks? I know there's supposed to be more gun tank stuff. And that's why I was like, oh, here it is. Here's the gun
Oh,
tank
that's right. And
stuff.
the gun tank is one of your favorite things from the
I love it.
Origin.
I love the early type gun tank. It's fantastic design.
It really is.
It actually for me it really does bridge the gap between the Type 42 tank and the regular gun tank that we know. Like it's
Exactly.
clearly an in between, and I love that. Which, by the way, we get to see some awesome Type 42 gun tanks or regular tanks here in a bit. I love that.
Yep.
Because I'm a fan.
Hammond gives them a change of clothes, and when she comes back down the ladder, which they do a little bit of male gaze on her as she's coming down, but it kind of works. But that works for the scene because we also see the 2 Federation officers that she somehow roped into doing this leering at her, and they basically start demanding extra payment.
Yeah, they're like, well, if we're gonna do this, we need more. We need to get paid some more. And she's like, well, I'll give you 10 grand more. And he's like, well, normally we would do it for double. And she's like, well, I ain't got double. I'll give you 10. And then they're like, well, you could pay us with other methods. And she's like, oh, like being coy. Like she fucking doesn't know exactly what he's gonna say, given her other job. It's like, other than espionage, her other job of being a sexy lady of the night. Gee, I wonder if these guys want to fuck me. Yeah. And he definitely makes no qualms about it.
And that one guy does the hand on the wall thing next to her head.
He tries to like get her up. And
then she just destroys that guy. Because she knees him in the crotch and then elbows him in the face, and he just drops like a sack of potatoes.
Well, as I wrote it down in my so eloquent way, she offers them more money, and when they refuse, she offers to relocate their testicles.
Offers, she provides. So we saw that
one. They didn't take the offer, so she just, and then this is where you also realize the other guy clearly sucks at driving this gun tank because he's running over cars and shit. Like, it's like he literally doesn't know where he's going. He's just driving over everything. But I mean, if one has tank, one does tank things. However, discreetness. But the one thing is we neglected to say was that she told him to basically floor it. Like, let's fucking go. We got to get out of here. And they're like, we could speed up, or we could rape you. And then she said, or I can tear your nuts off and drive it myself. And they said, okay, let's do that. Basically.
And then like one guy pulls a gun, and she's like, really? You're gonna you're gonna try to fire off a gun inside the big metal box. What do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah. Well, that happens a little bit later. Prior to that, the Federation goes, oh yeah, we got a gun tank going rogue. Probably should have noticed that earlier. It's like, here's the thing. Okay, so we know she has connections to the Federation and the actual soldiers and stuff like that, probably due to the bar, and probably has some kind of relation to the Munzo Defense Force because she knows Rawl directly and all that. So this is a legit Federation thing. So that's real Federation guys are like, yeah, so we should probably stop that gun tank that's just roaming around doing whatever the fuck it wants. And this is prior to getting the message about the kids being taken in a gun tank. And so they're like, yeah, send people to go stop it. When they said we need to stop it, I thought for a second like they were gonna remote shut it down because I thought that's like what they were gonna do on the stuff. But that's not what happens. Unfortunately, they actually send tanks and other people to go try to stop them in the street.
I mean, they send out a bunch of tanks and stuff.
Yes, but then what happens? I was trying to lead you there, and you should know what happens by
now. They send out other gun tanks to stop it as they head to the docking bay, smashing buildings. Meanwhile, Cassilia is awoken by the news of what's going on and goes out to the window to see what's going on with sunlight strategically censoring her.
Yeah, Casval is naked, like very naked. And you hear a minor noise right as she gets up. And like, to me, it's like, was she necessarily alone in that room?
You know what? I didn't catch on to that, but
you don't see anyone else, but you hear a noise, like almost like she had to like climb over somebody, so to speak. It's pitch black, and Fritz opened the curtains, and oh hey, Unfortunately, there's no carpet to match the drapes.
There wasn't a whole lot of detail anywhere.
Yeah, I love that. You literally pan up from like her thighs up, and you're like, "Hey, look!" No detail. It's glare, morning sun. And they're in her birthday suit.
Let's see. Meanwhile, oh yeah, and then while that's going on, Wamba, there we see tanks. The Type 40 you said it was called?
Type 42. Yep.
We see a bunch of those coming down the road, and then suddenly Ramba Ral is there with some of his own people, and they're like, "Dude, you're right in front of us. Move." He's like, "Okay, yeah, okay, sorry, my bad. Hey, wait, what do you mean we can't move? Oh, we got a flat.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. We're gonna go fix this. Just wait a sec. We'll be okay."
Slight cigarette.
What, we don't have a spare. Oh, we're gonna have to wait for a tow truck.
And these guys with the tanks just put up with this bullshit. And then you see like they clearly pulled this off at every possible path from the base. So like over here, there's more of Ramba's forces stopping the tanks. And then you see over here, they've organized street construction to keep them from going through. It's just like, damn, like this is just planned.
Huh? And it's legit construction too, because the road is actually like torn up and stuff like that. So it's not just like they faked a road construction blockade or something like that. They actually did damage or something to the roads.
They went full Ghostbusters on it.
Pretty. I was thinking about that too, actually.
If there was a guy with a crane there, it would have been even better. Continue.
Anyway, so then we're seeing them still rampage. The gun tank still sort of rampaging through the city, though now there's less cars around. They're crashing into the buildings and stuff, and then we see 4 early type gun tanks show up.
Yeah, that guy, the pilot, was just literally like, "Oh, we're all gonna die. I knew this was gonna happen." And you're like, "Oh, they clearly ran into something important now. It's in the distance."
It's like, and to be fair, it's like he's right. They are completely outnumbered. But Haman's like, "No, screw this. Blow them up. Charge through. We'll be fine. Just shoot them." And the guy kind of refuses, and she's like, just shoves him out and gets into place.
Yeah.
And then we cut up to Casval and Artesia up in the cockpit, and he's just staring at them. And you hear this beeping sound. And he goes over and pushes the button, and then like the targeting stuff comes out.
Yeah.
And he goes ahead
from here.
Yeah.
That's called a convenience button.
Pretty much. And we have this exchange between them. It's like, what are those? The enemy, my enemy, your enemy, mother's enemy, everyone's enemy. I'll take them out. And I'm kind of going. I put a note here. It's like, did we just see the birth of Char, basically?
Well, my thing was like, okay, the Federation is kind of the enemy, given his father's manifesto, so to speak.
Totally.
But really, the Federation, quote unquote, is trying to get them out of there to safety from the Zabi family, who is definitely their enemy and is already trying to kill them.
No, the Federation isn't the one that's trying to get them out.
I was putting that in quotations because they're using Fedis to do it because they clearly didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah. And so that's when he hears the beeping, and he pushes the button, the controls come out, and he takes aim and fires at the first gun tank, and he completely destroys that thing because it kind of leans back as it explodes and then explodes again.
Yeah, he totally killed it. He shot it like
and the other tanks are like, what the hell? They back away from it, and one crashes into another building.
I love the fact they didn't expect to be shot at. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
So they get shot at, and then the second one backs into the others and they were trying to get away, and they tried to turn and runs into the thing, like you said. Like he's just like, ah, crap, what do we do? Completely forgetting he's the tank. And they had the advantage. They 100% had the advantage, and somehow lost it because they didn't expect to be shot at by one of their own rogue gun tanks. Which, by the way, somebody was Card 995 was mentioning the Thunderbolt version of the gun tank, and holy crap, that's a thing. We'll talk about it later.
I'm going to see this now. I imagine it must have bunches of shields or something.
It's the bulkiest gun tank I've ever seen. We'll talk about it later. It looks more like the Zaku tank thing. I forgot what that's called. Anyway, so battle begins.
Yeah, and so I know he takes aim. What was that?
The guitar intensifies.
Yes. He takes aim at the next one, fires, blows it up.
Yep, does that. And then they start shooting back.
And then apparently he, in addition to targeting controls, he also, I think, has control of
he has full control of it, yeah.
So he hits the pedals because you can see like it's like his sneakers or something like that.
Yeah.
Which now I think about it, were his shoes red?
I didn't pay attention. We'll go back and look.
I swear I remember them being red and white now. I'd have to look back on that. And he charges forward, and he is piloting this thing like he was born to do so, because not only is he charging forward, but he's also got the arm raised up and is shooting off the machine gun hands.
Yeah, because he can't get a target lock because he's moving and being shot at, so he can't hit him with the main cannon. So he's using the machine guns, which he can maneuver a lot easier. And they're shooting at him, same problem. And so basically the next couple minutes it's just them fighting back and forth, and it actually gets really confusing because you can't tell which gun tank is actually being shot, and you have screaming the whole time. You don't know if that's the Fetty pilot, you don't know if that's the moron who's actually downstairs. So like it's like fog of war situation, which was kind of cool. And then as he's killing like the last one, he's like just continually, I think he just kept shooting it like after it was already down and done, like he just kept shooting that same gun tank. And then Artesia like screams at him, and that snaps him out of his like Spartan rage, so to speak.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if what was going on there with Artesia was a bit of a new type thing, because it's almost because she says those poor people.
Yeah, she could tell.
And there's no way she could have heard their screaming. The screaming was more just for the audience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they don't have an open radio contact with them. They are not going to be able to hear the sound of what's going on outside. But she somehow can.
It's the same channel, so in theory they could hear.
Maybe,
but either way, there's no real way she knows that people are dying, and she did say something about them dying and stuff like that.
Yeah, and all the while during the fight, we're getting this stuff with their mom telling about how beautiful Earth is and how everybody should be happy.
Yeah, exactly. And so they finally beat down those gun tanks and drive off. A little worse for wear. They got some bullet holes, but nobody died yet.
Yeah.
Never took any significant hits. They won their game of Battleship.
Yeah, so they're moving on, and then they find another blockade, this time with both tanks and gun tanks.
All the things.
And their gun tank is about ready to just fall apart.
Yeah.
It comes up there and it's shaking. You see like armor practically falling off of it. And smoke just starts billowing up from it. But Hamon's like, okay, this is great. We'll use the smoke as a screen. And they climb out and start making towards the back of the tank, going dangerously close to those treads that are still moving.
Yeah, because that thing doesn't have tread guards at all. But also, like, I was more worried about, like, if they fell into, like, intake for the engine or something like that, or got close, because it does have kind of exhaust / thrusters out the back. So like, I was worried about that, but I like this idea that you actually get to see the real scale of the mobile suit.
Yeah,
because they climb out of that little hatch and they walk across it, so you really get to see how big it is compared to a real person. It's not something you always get.
Particularly with the gun tank, because one, you don't see gun tanks very often. They're not super popular, even if they are kind of interesting designs. And gun tanks are also a lot bigger than your standard mobile suit, at least the base tank part.
Yeah, it's like
and so it is cool seeing the scale of all that. And then they get to the back and they jump off. First Haman, then Casval, and they're like, "Don't, come on, jump! We'll catch you." And
he tells her to jump as hard as she can.
And I was expecting her to pick up the cat and then jump, but no, they let Lucifer jump on its own.
Yeah, because they had to take the fucking cat.
Lucifer is one of the best characters in this entire anime. Prove me wrong.
That's what the shirt is supposed to be. It's Ron Barrell's first major victory is that he beat Lucifer.
That's right.
Yeah. Operation Liberate Lucifer, whatever, Rescue Lucifer. That's right. That's the shirt we're supposed to do from last week. But yeah, I like this idea. Okay, and then their gun tank gets overkilled.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Like, every gun tank fired their heavy artillery at it. I'm like, this is still a public street. Like, these are still houses and businesses. It's like that's not going to be a small explosion. And it wasn't.
At least it doesn't have a nuclear reactor yet.
Well, like, once again, we talked about last week about, the idea of firing off weaponry and stuff like that inside a colony. And this is like our first real, like, big battles inside a colony. But you can tell at this point, other than the fact that clearly you need military bases in any of these countries. But like, they have a lot of weapons inside these colonies to keep people in line, because they don't exactly have enemies, so to speak. So they just happen to have, like, a couple dozen gun tanks and God knows how many actual tanks and actual military people. And we already know they have artillery, or at least Munzo does, but no mobile suits from what we can see. I assume that comes later. Surprise! Surprise! Echo one.
I know in the movie we basically get to see the development and creation of the concept of mobile suits.
Yeah, I assume it'll come, because I know the Operation V does sort of come about when we see the Gundam stuff on Amuro's side.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I want to bring something up. Since you mentioned the prequels earlier, you remember the clone trooper transports, like from episode 2, like they would come in, land, doors would slide open.
Yeah, Yoda was flying around in one of those in Clone Wars. Yeah, I remember that.
Was this their inspiration? like no joke, was these little clips like this that inspiration? Because tell me that doesn't look exactly like those.
I would not be surprised, to be honest, knowing with how creative-minded Industrial Light and Magic LucasArts stuff is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it was based off of like helicopters and bombers and stuff like that from different wars, but just saying that clearly. Card 995 says it's a colony. I know it's a colony. I'm calling it a country in quotes, because it's basically like having another territory, or absorbing another country into your main country, because the colonies existed or were built and then people were shuffled off to them. And they kind of independent mostly, but still under the thumb of the Federation, which we already know they're not fans of. So that's what I said. It's like you're in another country or another territory or a colony because they're colonizing something in the name of the Federation, and they're clearly not happy about it. So that's what I meant. Is like why, if it's yours, it's your colony, you made it, you put people there. Why would you ever be worried and start loading up military stuff inside it unless you already know you're going to have an issue?
I imagine in some ways it's kind of similar to the occupational forces in Japan after World War II.
Yeah, but they didn't conquer the colonies, did they? So to speak.
No, but they basically, after World War II, the United States set up a whole bunch of military bases and basically said, this is how you're running your government now. The emperor can stick around. We're okay-ish with that.
Yeah.
But everything else, this is what you're doing.
I got a little bug crawling across there. But either way, back to the actual story at hand. They didn't die because they were actually somehow away from said gun tank before it exploded.
Yep.
I'm guessing they're just like on a side street. There's no way they're still on that street because there's no way.
I imagine they cut between like some of the buildings, and so they're now like the next block or two over.
Yeah.
And we see Ramba Rao's, of course, blue APC, just like Dukes of Hazzard jump over a hill, drives over to him, and Hamad goes, "Taxi," which I thought was hilarious.
And then Ramba's reply,
yeah, he was,
"Miss, you need a ride?" Rolls the window down. Like, if he had sunglasses on and been like, "Excuse me, do you need a ride?" Okay, so it's a colony was meant to go with the gun tanks. Yeah, still big weapons being fired off inside said colony. People still live there. You can still hit things. Mind you, it's a big-ass cylinder, which, depending on where you hit, it might not go where you're shooting here, but it can still go way over there and hit stuff. To assume that there's... Because it's not real gravity, it's inertia being used to simulate gravity. That rotation, depending on how you shoot, you could hit completely away from what you were aiming at, innocent targets and stuff like that. So battle inside colonies is always a bad idea.
Yeah, and taking us out the idea that they're in a big floating tin can in space, they are still in basically down. This is like starting a battle in downtown, whatever city you choose. It's not.
Yeah, it's a city street.
Tanks in their. This is like their.
It's urban warfare. It's urban warfare. It's like they're literally fighting in the streets. It's not like they're out in the countryside of the colony trying to escape. They're going down Main Street. Realistically, I think she basically said that.
In downtown New York and firing off giant cannons next to all the skyscrapers and brown houses and whatever.
Yeah, brown houses.
Brownstones, I think was the word I was looking
brownstones. For. You were going brown houses, or I'm sorry, townhouses and brownstones. They're just brown houses. Basically,
that's how my brain works.
Blatant disregard for the residents. I mean, they did announce probably get to safety and stuff like that after the first.
That's probably why all those streets were clear.
Now, one thing about this is you sort of get an idea of how big the colonies are because it takes them a while to get to the loading dock. Like, it's not like she literally meant like florid. We've got a ways to go. I mean, they're probably a couple miles long at least, right?
They're big.
I mean, they're pretty big.
I'm looking off to the side because that's where my
your book was here,
and I think it gives dimensions to that, but I don't know if those dimensions are correct for what's in the anime.
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, they're huge. They're huge for what they are. You can still get like thousands and thousands of people in them, obviously, but either way, the point is like they have a long drive from where they were to where they need to go. And everybody knows where the hell they're going at this point because they're driving down the street that goes straight to it.
Yeah, they keep on saying it's obvious it's heading towards the docks. It's heading towards the docks.
Wow. Okay, so Jerry is like, well, depending on how strong the weapon is, I guess it's still okay-ish to shoot inside a colony. That's like saying it's okay to shoot an RPG in a submarine. I mean, if I don't shoot anybody directly, it's going to be okay, right? There's still a lot of shit in there. You don't just start shooting inside of a big tin can, especially if there are people around. You don't know what you might hit. But yeah, I assume that they probably have shelters for if things go down. So odds are, and like the fact that dude was driving straight into buildings at one point while there's
Yeah,
also people running on the streets. It's like, I mean, the Federation was not, they weren't against running over people in the previous episode. So these guys probably still don't care. But they're also not the best pilots in the world. So she clearly got like B squad for this.
well, it's the people that would be willing to, sell out their position.
Just to transport some kids, yeah.
Yeah. So after that,
they get there.
We cut to, I write it down as a space UPS.
It's not space UPS. It's space DHL. It's international. they're going international because it's, and technically it does say international. Like if you look at the label that he has on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so see colonies or other countries. Told you.
And we see Lieutenant Tachi is there. We saw him in the previous episode, and it looks like he's supposed to be like monitoring customs and stuff like that, but he's there to be waiting for Ramba's package to show up. So that way he could I'm just gonna go with it. Anyway.
Waiting on Ramba's package. Like Hamon is.
And they're like, can we just close this container now? It's like time to go. He's like, no, we gotta wait because stuff is coming. And oh, look, here it is. Stamp, sticker there. It's fine. Go. No, yeah, why do you
load it?
X-raying it?
No, don't put that through the thing. I do like their conveyor belt system that literally just tilts and the thing slides off like it's going to go through the scanner. And they're like, hey, we got to scan this. And they're like, no, you don't. Because my seal's not good enough. That's what I do, man. You don't need to scan that. Screw that. Meow. Oh, wait, the fucking cat. I'm going to ruin things. What is that movie? The gosh darn cat or whatever?
Yeah. And and when he hears that, he panics, and then he's like, and then he acts like he sees the cat. He's like, oh, cat, no, the cat shouldn't be here. Where's the cat? Oh, cat, no, hello, meow.
And those other guys are just looking at him like, it's like, okay, he's clearly gone nuts. Just load the damn crate.
You don't mess with crazy.
Yeah. Hey, at least there was an air hole.
Yeah.
Which, clearly wasn't hidden very well. It's like just right in the side. Like, hey, should we be worried about? No. Should we shine a light? No. Good
guy. Look for the cat.
Yes, exactly. It's still meowing. It's cat's over there. It's throwing its voice.
It's a ventriloquist cat.
Yep, exactly. Cat is just packing material. No, it's going to Space Korea. It's lunch.
And so they eventually get it claw thing picks it up, puts it inside the giant container.
Yeah, I like it. It's a small container going in a bigger container going in that ship. I liked it. It was cool. Actually, I like. So it's like a mobile worker almost, like a forklift loading the thing in there. I know that thing is like small, but I want a kit. Can I have a kit? I want a kit.
Now that I think about it, it's very similar to something that we see in the beginning of Double Zeta, actually. Not that you would know about that, but they have they call them petite mobile suits.
Micro suits.
They have like a dome cockpit thing because the person sitting in it is practically just sitting outside of it almost.
Makes sense.
Anyway,
it's a loader. Yeah.
And what happens next? I don't know. So they get them loaded up, and then everything looks like it's about to be clear, and then Cassilia shows up with all her men.
I liked Ramba here. He's like dabbing his face. Oh, thank God that's over with. Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna make it. And then literally she's like, I don't know that we did. And he's like, son of a bitch. And she's like, yes. Of course, Cassilia shows up with her Nazis. They're not on horses this time.
Yeah.
That's
So that
probably
would have
where
been hilarious.
they
Just them.
that's probably where they failed. Should have rode in on the horses.
I'm just imagining the horses being tied up outside the dock or something.
Sorry, we had to get our horses. We would have been here sooner. We had to get our horses.
And she obviously knows that something's up.
Well,
And
yeah.
she's like, I could stop all of this. I could stop the cargo from going out and demand everything be unloaded and rechecked all over again. And Rollo's like, no, you're too kind-hearted to do something like that.
Yeah, that exchange was like, I know he's sucking up to her and bullshitting just like he did before.
But she knows that he's bullshitting because the way she responded back. She's like,
yeah,
she doesn't have any of this.
And then I like that she's just like, okay, well, we're taking you guys in.
Yeah, we're just you two arrested now.
And then they open the ship, they open the crate, they found the kids and Jimba, murdered them all right there. The cat's got a few scratches in, and then nothing
Cat
happened after
survives
that.
and goes on to become Char, the Red Comet.
I'm really Lucifer.
I'm really meow.
Exactly. He's a new type cat. Space horses, lol, just like in other sci-fi movies. Yep, space horses. They're actually robots.
That'd be funny.
But either way, the ship actually freaking leaves because, and the first time I watched it, I'm like, she literally said it's within her power to order the ship to stop, unload, check every single crate, and she knows the kids are on board. She probably doesn't know about Jimba, but she knows the kids are there.
My guess is like she says she has that kind of power. And I think part of Ramba's response to her was basically like saying, like, you're too kind-hearted to do that. But really what he means is like, you don't have that kind of power. You're just you. You can't tell this outside company to stop.
But she does have power because her family is now in control. And she already clearly has, she is important in the military sense. So within their, like, she's his commander, like he's a captain. She's higher up, I think. Or maybe I'm wrong because he's a captain. She's not a lieutenant, right? She's a.
You know what? I don't know for certain.
We'll have to relook, but I'm fairly certain that, given that she's a zombie family member and has her own private force, she could definitely pull something off, if she wanted to. But then I remembered what was told to her earlier: don't interfere with the kids. So she knows the kids are there. She knows the kids are being loaded onto the ship. Also, why the hell did Ramba stick around? Like, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, sure, they didn't want to get caught, but they got caught. Like, but you literally got caught standing there red-handed. Why would you do that? And we know that Ramba is fine later on in life, so how, other than some kind of political bullshit, how does he get out of this knowing that he literally let the Deikun children leave and help them?
We'll find out in future episodes.
Find out next time on Gundam The Origin, Rise of the Red Comet.
We're actually not.
It's not actually over yet. I'm just saying.
But they eventually start, after they've been floating around for a bit, which they're having fun trying to get used to zero G.
Yes.
Casval's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Doesn't actually say that, but that's he opens up.
I was gonna say, no, he didn't.
I mean, why else would he decide to get out of the safety of everything? Well, actually,
Haman told him
that. Yeah, told him, like, after a point, they open everything up, they come out. You're hearing a flashback of Haman saying, it's like, once you guys are safe, get out of the cargo container, find a window, and take a look at everything that's outside of the colony now.
I just thought about something. I need to look at the schematics for the colonies. Okay, so the ship leaves, but the reason they know that they're clear of the colony or about to leave the colony is that they go zero. They're floating.
Mhm.
And so they leave the container, which they conveniently had a handle on the inside of both the main container and the outside container so they could escape, which is
They
cool.
specifically said they
That's how they
specifically say
smuggle them,
something
yeah.
about it.
Yeah. But my thought was, so generally speaking, I would thought that the colony maintains artificial gravity by spinning, which
Yes.
makes sense. The cargo area and the in and out area doesn't spin; it's stationary. So how did they have gravity?
I know in some stuff they specifically mentioned that the cargo area is 0 G, and that's partly by design because then that means you can
You can
more
move
easily
stuff
move
around,
cargo.
yeah. But
Um,
given what we're shown in this scene specifically, so Ramba and everybody who is seen walking around is walking around, not floating. The crate is on a conveyor belt, which could be magnetic. But
I imagine
now I
they
want to
are.
know. I actually want to know now. I want to see what the schematics of a freaking colony are.
I
If you guys
imagine
know, let me know.
they're not. They're probably at a spot where the gravity is lesser because they're getting closer to the central portion, but they're probably still getting that rotation
But it's not
just enough
rotating.
to.
You can see it from the outside. Only the main drum spins. The area that they come in and out of, where the main gate is, so to speak, is not spinning.
Hmm.
It stays still because otherwise you would have to match the rotation of your ship to the colony you're trying to land on. So where
Well,
you're
that's
landing
been
has to be stationary.
I want to say that's always been a thing, but I also know that with the type of space colony design that they use, which I am now blanking on what it's called because there's an actual name for it. Describes like having two cylinders inside of each other, where with one rotating and one being rotating the other direction or something like that to not only provide gravity but also stability. Weird science stuff.
Continue. I'm looking it up.
Okay, and your voice was completely out of sync for there, so I was confused. Anyway, so they're getting a flashback of talking to Haman just before they leave, and Artasia like gives Haman a hug and says, "Give a message back to mommy saying that I promise I'll be a good girl." And you can just sort of see Haman's heart breaking, and Ramba just sort of looks off to the side. And when the ship exits out, they see the stars apparently for the first time, and then they see Earth, and that's where we get Casval talking about, yeah, it's this beautiful blue planet, but humanity has polluted it, and that's why the colonies are here. And it kind of also the way he talks about it makes it sound like the movement to the colonies wasn't exactly willing for a lot of people, and that's because in the history of Gundam, it wasn't. It was a lot of the people that were moved into colonies were forced to do so. They were taken from their lives on Earth and said, "No, you're going to the colonies now." And that's kind of where the seeds of all this hatred and resentment against the Federation comes from.
Yeah.
Uh, we also they also get to the ship starts turning. They see Munzo from the outside, and it's like the first time they've actually gotten a view like this. And then they see the sun, and it's blinding. Oh, and then that's when they see Earth. And then a little bit after that is when they see the moon, and Artesia is just flabbergasted by how big it is. And she's like, "That's the thing that goes small and then big again."
Yeah.
And we end the episode seeing the ship that they're on making its way down next to the moon.
Sorry, I got to correct Joey here all of a sudden. Well, it says Xeon colonies. Okay, so yeah, you're right. The Munzo colonies specifically, I just read this, did not have any clear sky panels, so they actually could pack more people in it. So they didn't have any windows so they could see out.
Oh, so that's why they've never seen stars. Okay.
Yeah, that's why they've never seen stars or the sun or any of that. Okay, so yeah, there it is. All colonies in the Universal Century are O'Neill Island 3 type colony.
That's right. O'Neill cylinder. That was the phrase I was looking for.
So now I want to look up an O'Neill cylinder. Continue talking.
Well, I just finished the episode, dude.
End of the episode. They're heading towards the moon, realistically, but side 3 is behind the moon. It's behind the dark side of the moon, which is funny. So given the fact that they come out of there and the ship is spinning and turning into rotation after coming out of the colony, that they could see the sun so brightly. I got to wonder what position they were technically in at that point, if they were essentially behind the dark side of the moon. Just saying.
Yeah.
Where each points where all the sides are located.
Yeah, and you can see just be on the other side of the moon is side 3.
Okay. Gundam GC longest strategy.
Birthday gift from my mom, by the way.
Okay, let me see here. Would consist of 2 counter-rotating cylinders. Cylinders would rotate in opposite directions in order to cancel out any gyroscopic effects. That makes sense. Same, actually, oddly enough, same way that helicopter functions.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Each would be 5 miles in diameter and 20 miles long. So you got to think, even if they were not that close, that was a good could have been a 20-minute drive for all they know to get to the thing. They would rotate so as to provide artificial gravity via centrifugal force on their inner surfaces. And connected at each end by a rod via a bearing system. So there's the rod that basically goes right down the middle in the sky. Looking here. Central axis of the habitat would be a zero gravity region, which is envisaged as recreational facilities will be located there. So you have like all your parks in the zero gravity section. That'd be funny. So in theory, people should anything in the center line would have zero gravity. Wouldn't be rotating. Okay, hold on. Research on human factors, rotating reference frames indicate that low radiation speeds, rotation speeds. Few people would experience motion sickness due to the Coriolis forces acting on their inner ear. That makes sense.
I'll be right back.
He'll be right back. I'm going to read Wiki. This is a great podcast. It's not dark side of the moon. They're just behind the moon. Joey says if they're behind the moon doesn't turn. If you're behind it, you're on the dark side. Joey, that's not how the moon functions. The moon doesn't rotate. I know you know this. If they're behind the moon, they're only going to see the dark side of the moon. So, like, even if she can't, depending if they're, so they would only see the black side until they passed around it. I mean, you could still see the sun, but you would have to come out from behind the moon to see said thing. Because Earth could get in between the sun and the moon, depending on where it is. But if side 3 is gravitationally locked with the moon, but not in orbit, you know, the Lagrange points are stable gravitational things, but I don't know if they rotate or not. I'll have to look at that map again. Moon works, Joey. Sorry, I'm just trying to read. You know, the whole point is, like, if they're at the loading, there should be no gravity. That was my only point, because the loading dock goes in and out. Unless the loading dock is totally different. I don't know. That's my point, though. But anyway, I like the episode so far. He'll be back eventually. I like the fact that I actually got to see some battles, a little bit more character depth. We knew that the kids are going to have to escape to Earth at some point. Didn't know how far it would be. I do see why this was originally set up as movie versus TV series, because like it seems like they're rushing so fast to get through a 20-minute episode that they skip things or they jump very quickly to the next scene. Like, let's talk later. It's now later, nothing in between.
I'm back, by the way.
Are you? I couldn't tell. You have to think in all three dimensions. No, I don't. Show me that diagram of the where the sides are again.
Yeah. Now, granted, this is from the novelization, so there might be some things that are.
It looks the same as the one that's online.
Yeah. So.
That's what I was asking. Does it? Okay, you're moving around too much. Okay, so it looks like it does have. If I'm looking at the right one, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. Side 2, side 5, side 3. No, I'm looking at the right one. It's behind the moon. The moon is stationary locked. In theory, it's always behind the moon, but maybe it's got its own small. It looks like they all have a small orbit they follow. It's not going around the moon. It's always behind the moon for the most part. So that's what my point was. So, but it's not orbiting the moon. It looks like it has a kind of orbit, but it's doing this number. The moon is here going around, and like it's being pulled along by the moon's gravity, but it's not orbiting the moon.
Yeah, because it's in the Lagrange point where I think it's getting pulled by like Earth, the moon, and I think the sun is also acting on it or something like that. So it helps.
It's in a stable gravitational area, so it's not. And in theory, but that's where I was saying, does it orbit Earth or does it always stay in the same spot?
Always stays in the same spot with the sun.
So the colony doesn't move. So the moon goes past it conveniently at the moment they're behind the moon. But in theory, they never really see the light side of the moon, because like it would have to be pretty far away. They probably wouldn't even be able to see it in theory, and then it would be behind Earth according to that diagram. The moon would be on the other side of Earth by the time they could see the full moon. So the only way you could really see a full moon if you're from that colony is to be on Earth, in theory.
So that makes her statement about the cycles of the moon even more fantastical.
It would mean nothing. Yeah, because the moon is orbiting Earth and the light side always faces Earth. If you're always behind it, you'll never see the face of it. You'd have to come at least halfway around it. The colony follows the moon. No, that's what I was asking, because that's what I couldn't tell if in that diagram it stayed in one spot or it went with the moon.
Yeah, so basically the colonies follow along with the.
That's what
the moon rotates. The colony moves at the same point. It looks like maybe it rotates a little bit.
It has a small near. I'm going to double check one more time. But either way, what did you think of the episode?
I liked it. The gun tank fight scene is fantastic, and that was one of the highlights from that particular movie too. And again, all the stuff with the mother and the kids just really hits at my heartstrings a little bit. But it's also it's cool because we're seeing all the stuff that leads to basically the creation of the Red Comet.
Yeah, literally, that's the whole point.
And this episode in particular, it feels like you're seeing the witness of, you see the creation of Shara Nazwell, the ace pilot, because the kid doesn't even know how to drive a car yet. They said he was what, 11? Yeah, so he's and somehow he is able to just expertly pilot this thing and take down 4 other enemy units that by all rights should have taken him down right away. Yeah, he had the element of surprise on one of them, but he should have been he should not have been able to survive that, and he did because he's just a badass at 11 years old.
Sorry, I'm reading.
High quality YouTube for folks.
Okay, so side 3 is located behind the moon, which is commonly referred to as the dark side of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and side 3 was the only one that's a closed type. So they don't get to see the stars. The weird part would be they would probably be able to see the moon, but never see it because it's always the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I was trying to find out if they're tidally locked or not.
And I want to say there's some other weird stuff about Munzo, like it was never completely finished or something like that, or there was something weird about its atmosphere or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so this right here. So Lagrange points. First requirement of any space colony is it would have to be in a stable position. Preferably, it'd stay stable relative to Earth. That way, colony dwellers would experience the same 365-day year. By retaining Earth years, space colonies would also retain the ability for seasonal crops, such to remain in space and time and resist Earth's gravity. Space colony must always be moving in a prescribed orbit at specific positions in space.
Sounds right.
I'm just reading here. Oh yeah, that's funny. Between regular Gundam and Zetas, location change for some reason. Some of them change places.
Yes. And then I think after Zeta, that those locations become kind of locked in stone.
Oh wow, this website is actually looking at it as a scientific thing. So they actually talk about the mathematical formula to determine Lagrange points. Sorry, hold on.
It's a real concept.
Yeah, look up higher frontier. No.
Don't tell me what to do.
If so, Earth sees the moon as full, side 3 would see the moon as dark. No. Side 3 always sees the moon as dark. And if it's locked to the dark side of the moon, Joey, they will never see any other side than that side of the moon until they go past it. So the moon is always between side 3 and Earth, which means they never see the light side of the moon, Joey. It's like, am I wrong here? Like, the only way you see the light side of the moon is if you're beyond the reflective side of the moon. If you're behind it, if you're always on the dark side of the moon, you will never see anything but the dark side of the moon.
I'm not sure.
Because it doesn't go around the moon. It does a circle behind the moon. So this is where I was trying to look up the way they actually orbit. So in theory, they're in a stable orbit about Earth. Like, each one has its own little path it follows, but it stays in the same spot relative to Earth as Earth is going around the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the moon goes around Earth. We saw that in the diagram. So in theory, if it stays by the moon, it'll always be in the dark. The light dark side is from Earth's perspective. No, it's from the perspective, period. That if you're on the dark side of the moon, you're never going to see anything else. The moon doesn't spin. The moon is tidally locked. It always faces Earth. Side 3 is always behind the moon. Means you could never see the moon because it's there. If you parked on the dark side of the moon permanently, you'll never see a full moon. It's like saying that I could stand behind. It's like I could hold a flashlight over there and stand behind the door. Can I see the flashlight? You know? Can I see the other side of the door where the light source is coming from? It's like, Joey, if you wrote many papers on this and you said that something behind the dark side of the moon could see a full moon, you might want to go back and look at your papers. That doesn't make sense. Oh, here's how they simulate gravity. That's actually a good thing to know. Are the side colonies feasible? No. But maybe. So that's what I'm trying to figure out was with the orbits. That's all I wanted to know. Because that's the hard part about the diagrams they show, is that they show the moon's orbit and they show the individual orbits for the sides themselves, and like Luna 2 and Solomon and Abaku and stuff like that. So, which is also in a weird orbit around the Lagrange point near side 3 as well. That's not what a new moon is. A new moon means that Earth is between the sun and the moon. A new moon means there's no moon on our side. It's not rotating. Earth is casting the shadow on the moon.
Oh no, that's
like
Earth's casting the shadow on the moon is an eclipse.
Same difference. No, an eclipse is when the moon is between the Earth and the sun. So the moon is blocking. It's a reverse. Okay, so for you, if you were on the surface of the moon, the light side, looking at Earth during a new moon, you wouldn't see Earth. Earth would be a shadow to you. So Earth would be, you really wouldn't see Earth that well anyways. So like Earth would be, you wouldn't see the dark side of Earth, so to speak. You got to remember, things are orbiting each other. One thing is spinning, the other thing does not spin. The reason you see the light side of the moon is because it's catching the reflectivity of the sun going around Earth, so to speak. So Earth, at nighttime for you, and you see the moon, the sun is going, the rest of the sunlight is going to hit the moon. It's reflecting the surface back to Earth. When it's a full moon, that means there's no blockage at all by Earth. As it waxes and wanes, it's the shadow of Earth being cast on the moon. A new moon, when there's nothing.
No,
that's how it works.
It's not the shadow of Earth.
Yes, it is.
That's not the shadow. It's not the shadow of Earth casting on the moon, though.
Yes, it is.
That's something else.
What is casting the shadow? The moon's behind you, or the sun's behind you.
It's just the shadow that the moon has because it's a sphere.
The far side is not illuminated. Oh my God. The moon never changes directions.
I'll have to look this stuff up later.
Is the backside of the moon called the dark side? Yes. Oh God. It doesn't have to do with sunlight. I'm just done. I'm done. That's not how it works.
I think it's getting late and maybe we need to start wrapping this up.
Whatever. I'm done with it. I'm done discussing it. That's how it works.
Okay.
Solar eclipse, the light side of the moon is dark and the dark side is lit. So has anybody ever sat on the moon to see that happen from that perspective? Maybe. They haven't talked about it ever. That seems to be the only time that makes sense during a solar eclipse. That's the problem with things that are orbiting each other. One thing spins, one thing doesn't. Because if it's located behind the moon, and it's on the dark side of the moon, that's why it's called the dark side of the moon when it's referring to it. I'll look it up after the fact. I don't really care. I'm done talking about it at bedtime. So I'm done. It doesn't matter. I'm looking forward to next week to see where this goes. I'm looking forward to the time skip of when things move on Like I want to see more battles and the stuff in the future. And you know, like I said, I've seen other stuff, like some of the battles, like Ramba in the Bugu, stuff like that. So I want to see the context around those things because I've just seen those clips and stuff like that. So
plus, we shouldn't be too far from seeing the mobile workers as well.
yeah, I think the mobile worker battle is coming up, which I want to see those in action. Because of course Ramba's got to have the blue one.
Mm-hmm.
This week on Off Topic, the moon. Technically, it's on topic because they were going at the moon when they left. And I don't know if the ship is like gonna land on the moon or if they're using the gravity to like slingshot to Earth or whatever. But you know, who knows?
Science.
Science. Either way. So you're telling me that at some point the colony is casting a shadow on the moon?
Possibly.
If the sunlight is hitting the dark side. So wait,
the main thing though is that the colonies,
the only reason I bring this up
are tiny in comparison to the moon. So yeah, maybe they might cast a shadow, but it's going to be so faint and insignificant that it wouldn't really.
Well, it's like 20 miles. I mean, that would be something. As close as it's shown. I mean, you see how close it is to the moon there. So I mean, it's right there. It could be. I mean, it's not like our satellites orbiting Earth don't cast shadows that we can see. But I'm just saying, I was like, so can I look up pictures of the dark side of the moon that NASA has bothered to be stationary at during an eclipse? Because I don't remember in all of the history that I've seen.
I've seen illuminated pictures of the other side of the moon.
Like illuminated or
yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up because that doesn't make sense to me. Like in all the time. Oh, I never showed you the gun tank. Just look it up.
Oh, the gun tank from
Thunderbolt gun tank.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's huge. It's like they should have had that around. Either way, I'm go. It's late. Y'all have a great week. Look forward to Masterpiece Monday tomorrow, where I'm not talking about the moon anymore. And what do you got coming up?
Sounds like a plan.
No, what do you have coming up this week? And you're glitching again.
Let's see. I don't actually have anything filmed or edited yet because tomorrow is my birthday, and I'm going to be getting some stuff for that. So I will be doing a what I got. So that'll either go up tomorrow, like afternoon or something, or it's going to go up on Tuesday. And then Rodimus will be back to do a in the kitchen video with because I got a whole bunch of boxes of stuff with some Christmas money I got.
Cool. Random info due to a typo. So I typed Dark Side of the Moo. I didn't get the in. It's apparently a restaurant in Jersey City that offers a counter serve storefront from a food truck known for specialty burgers made from exotic meats.
Dark Side of the Moo.
Somebody go, if you live near that, Google it, go see it, go check it out, and let me know if Dark Side of the Moo is any good. It's closed currently, so somebody apparently, but it's in Jersey City, New Jersey. Grubhub does deliver from them, so if you live in the New Jersey area and can do that, by all means. Oh, actually, I need to correct that now if I'm actually going to read this. So, all right, guys, good night. Good weekend.
Good night.
Remember, I hate you all. I don't care about the moon anymore. I give up. This is why I don't watch original Gundam.
And I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.
Fuck Universal Century.